Welcome to the Raging Takes podcast with your hosts, Brian Dixon, Kai Zabo, and Dylan Peters.
What's up, you turkeys? Welcome to episode 128 of the Raging Takes podcast. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. I'm your host, Brian Dixon, joined as always by my co-hosts, Kai the Commissioner Zabo and Dylan Peters. What's up, guys?
Salutations.
Salute to you.
Oh, thank you.
Hey.
I don't know what I did to deserve that, but thank you. I'll take that. We got a little bit of a crazy week to talk about here, week 13. Not that many games, though, because 4 games have already been played. So it's like 8 teams are on a bye week almost. We'll go over the week 13 review. We'll preview Thursday Night Football. It's a big one this week, Detroit and Green Bay. We got some really bad injury news, unfortunately. He hate me, of course. But we'll start with the raging question of the day. And it's about Azeez Al-Shaair, Texans linebacker, suspended 3 games. It was announced today for the dirty hit. I guess a debatable dirty hit. I've seen a lot of people taking his side in the media, so we'll get to that in a second. Basically, if you missed it, Trevor Lawrence slid. Al-Shaair went for the hit as he was going down. It looked horrible in real time. Immediately, the Jaguars and Texans started fighting, started brawling. I guess I'll ask you guys, did you agree with the suspension and did you think the hit was dirty?
Yes. I would say I only agree with it just because of the forearm. Like, why are you using your forearm? You know, that was like, I think that's kind of what drove it over the edge a little bit too. And also, I believe this is a repeat offense for him as well this season too. I believe they said this is his second similar offense already.
I know he's had offenses in the past. I don't know if it was ever like disqualification worthy or anything like that, but I know he's kind of known for some rough hits. I like him as a player. I'm not trying to shit on him, but I thought it was a little bit of a dirty play too. I saw people, including Tom Brady, which unless I got like clickbaited, I didn't actually sit there and read the article, but I saw that Tom Brady said that Trevor Lawrence should have slid earlier. I don't know if you can blame this on Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if I mean, Tom Brady, I guess, would know better than I would, but I don't know if I agree with that take. It's not even just the forearm for me. It was a late hit. No matter, even if the forearm wasn't involved, he was still going for Trevor Lawrence as he was sliding. The argument I've heard on the other side is, well, what's he supposed to do? And yeah, there is an element to that, but at the same time, like, this is how the NFL is nowadays. You can't be doing that. Like, I saw Bill Simmons on Twitter say that was a hit out of 1982 NFL, and I agree. Like, that's some old school shit. There's no room for that in the game anymore. Like, that just doesn't fly anymore. So yeah, I personally agree with the 3-game suspension. I do think that 3 games is a lot, and I think it is because of Al-Shaair's reputation. You see that in other sports too, where, like Draymond Green, if he gets suspended, his reputation might hurt him more. J.R. Smith was like another one back in the day who would get suspended a lot. Your reputation means a lot in the NFL when it comes to punishment like this. So. Yeah, I think if it was like any other player, this is probably just like a 1-game suspension. But since Al-Shaair has a little bit of a history of doing some crazy shit, he gets 3 games. He's going to appeal. I don't think he's going to win. So I expect him to be out 3 weeks. Dylan, what did you think about it?
It was a late hit. It was a blow to the head on a sliding quarterback. And due to the rules, man, especially since Trevor Lawrence went out, dude, he went unconscious. He's concussed. So if it doesn't result in him being concussed and knocked unconscious like that, maybe it's a different story. But it's a blow to the head on a sliding quarterback on a late hit that knocks him unconscious and concusses him. Yeah, dude, you're getting suspended.
Actually, I was going to say that's a great point. Like, I didn't even think about that. Maybe the injury is a reason why. Yeah.
It's the Tua thing. It's the head health thing. It's just like, they want to make an example of those types of hits and say, don't make these hits anymore. This is what's going to happen to you if you do this. So should he have slid sooner? Maybe, probably. Who knows? But
yeah, I mean,
you still can't do it. Can't do it, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a little bit of a late slide in there, but I still don't think you can blame the quarterback for that. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a justified suspension, and hopefully Alshire will learn from it, but I guess we'll wait and see. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. NFL news time. Some sad news. CMC, Christian McCaffrey, finally was having a good game too. He actually looked like himself out there in the snow against the Bills. He got a PCL sprain. He's been placed on injured reserve. There is a chance he can make it back. It's like a 6-week injury, they said. So if the Niners somehow pull off a miracle here and make the playoffs and make like a little bit of a run, he could come back in the playoffs. I don't personally expect the Niners to make the playoffs. I think we will not be seeing him again this season. But on the off chance they do, he could still come back for the playoffs, which if they make a little bit of a run and they get CMC back in the playoffs, I mean, oh man, the Niners might be back then, but we're a long way away from that. So immediately we're like, okay, well then Jordan Mason now is like the big name. He could maybe be a league winner. Well, the next morning it comes out that he is also injured and he has a high ankle sprain and now he's headed to IR as well. So he's likely out for the rest of your fantasy playoffs because at the most, there's only 4 weeks left, right? So if he's on IR, he's done for fantasy football as well. So now the Niners claim Israel Abanikanda off of waivers from the Jets and they signed Keyshawn Vaughn to their practice squad as well. So they have Isaac Guerrero already. Now they got these guys too. I'm sure there's another, what's that guy's name? Is it Patrick Taylor? Do they have a guy named Patrick Taylor? I think is their other running back. Maybe I'm wrong. There's somebody, there's somebody with a very, very just like generic name. I think that is in their backfield too.
Yeah. I guess it's,
what do you,
actually, no, there's no one.
No, okay. So it's just Abanikanda, Guerrero, and Keyshawn Vaughn. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'd like to put out there, now that I'm eliminated from the playoffs, Deebo Samuel will have a 40-point game.
Maybe, I don't know. That's
a guy that you could use
for sure, but it's like
you think even when they're trying.
I don't know. Even when they do use him, he doesn't look right. So I don't know if he's still playing through like an injury or what. I put it down later in the notes when we talked about the Niners game, but I think he's been held to under 25 yards in 3 straight games, which is crazy. That's very unlike Deebo.
He might just be checked out, dude. What if he's checked out?
I mean, maybe. Who knows? I mean, the Niners have had such a rough season. What do you guys think about Isaac Guerrero, though, as the new starting running back for the Niners?
I think he'll be serviceable. I mean, we've already seen that he can succeed in this offense like most running backs can. So
I think he's gonna be a slam fucking dunk, bro. What are you talking about? It's a Shanahan run scheme. Get this guy's gonna get 30 fucking carries, dude. What are they gonna give Israel Abanikanda carries? No. Are they gonna give Keyshawn Vaughn carries? No, dude. Are they gonna give Kyle Juszczyk carries?
Maybe.
Maybe like 6 carries.
Yeah.
Dude, Isaac Guerrero is going to get 20 plus and probably fucking rip off a couple touchdowns. Maybe. Who knows?
He's a nice little prospect too. Like we haven't seen him too much on the field in the NFL level, but he's pretty fast. He's got a decent size too for running back. He's been in the system too, so he knows the offense. There's a chance that Guerrero could really pop off. I think I'm with you, Dylan. I think this is going to be like a real fantasy wise. I think this will be a really good play. Now, granted, a lot of it is like, well, this is the Niners offense we're talking about. The Niners aren't the Niners this year, so maybe it won't be as good. But with that being said, I'd be definitely willing to take a chance on him. He's definitely the number 1 waiver ad of the week.
Oh yeah,
for sure, by a mile.
I mean, 5.9 yards per carry right now, currently this season on 42 carries. So pretty damn good.
That is good. Yeah. Does he have any touchdowns or anything?
2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean,
he's going to pop the fuck off. Don't get me wrong. That guy's going to pop off, especially in the next couple weeks. I mean, it could be. Niners, come on now.
No, I was going to say it could be good for Dynasty too. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next season with CMC. Yeah.
Well, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Do you guys think that CMC can recover from this injury?
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, I'll never be the one to actually count out CMC, but it's not looking good.
So he's out for 4 weeks, right?
6 weeks.
But it's a 4-week IR.
Yeah. At least 4 weeks. So, he can stay on IR after that.
What the Niners have, they have 5 games left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
No, dude. Sorry.
I just mean not this year. I just mean moving forward. Like next year, will Christian McCaffrey come back and be Christian McCaffrey? He'll be 29 next year.
Dude, I don't think so.
I do. I still think he'll be fine.
He's going to be another one of those draft picks next year where it's like, if you take a chance on him, he could screw you. If you don't, you're going to hate that you didn't take him. Yeah.
You're going to be able to get Christian McCaffrey probably in the second, maybe third round next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He won't be a first round pick.
But people are going to be scared of it though, for sure.
That's the value. Not 101 overall CMC. I don't think we'll ever get to where he was a couple of years ago or even like 2022, 23. I don't think we'll get back to that. Just because his body might be letting him down, dude. And I'm going to bank on the fact that a running back's going to actually slow down at 30. He's got a lot of wear and tear.
That is true. There's just like certain running backs that, have like an Adrian Peterson presence about them, where like Adrian Peterson tore his ACL and then ran for 2,000 yards like 9 months later. I can't remember how old he was at the time, but I feel like Christian McCaffrey is that sort of athlete where it wouldn't shock me if he recovered from this injury. It's just a PCL sprain, by the way, too. It's not like a torn ACL or anything like that.
His leg, did you see his leg? The video?
It looked pretty bad.
It looked bad, dude. His whole calf rippled.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
I was just like, a sprain?
Well, if it was Achilles, I mean, granted it's the Niners, but if it was an Achilles, they would have said that already. I think
it looked like a calf, like an upper calf injury, bro. Like that shit was blown out.
Like if it was an Achilles injury, for sure, I would be nervous about it moving forward. But if it's just a PCL sprain, I'd say just a PCL sprain, it's still a pretty serious injury. But I think he could still beat Christian McCaffrey. I definitely don't think he'll go in the first round next year. There's still a lot of time before next year's drafts. But sitting here right now predicting, I think I would take a chance on him if I saw him in the third round, saw Christian McCaffrey available in the third round. I think I would definitely take a chance on him.
Third round, I can be convinced. I don't know about second though. I'd be a little nervous.
If you take like a tight end and a really good wide receiver, and then CMC in the third round as your running back,
as your first one,
you got a pretty decent squad, dude.
Oh, that's playing with some dynamite.
Is it?
Could be, yeah.
Okay, that's it for that. He hate me.
He hate me. Yeah. It's a somber episode. It's a somber episode of He Hate Me. It's not really. I've been eliminated from the playoffs. So today there will be a theme to what's going on. Okay? This is what we're going to talk about. All year, my strategy was running back, right? I wanted to get good running backs. Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley sounded great, except for I said Breece Hall before Saquon Barkley. He's let me down. It hurts very much, but in like the week that I needed to get into, like to win, I had a legitimate chance to make the fantasy playoffs. My RB1, my first pick, scores 6 points, has a fumble, 0 catches. A fumble lost, by the way.
It was a bad fumble too.
It was, and he's let me down.
It was the one that like he like pushed forward almost, right? Wasn't it? It was like it went forward like 10 yards.
It exploded outwards. He fumbles just no role. Like Breece Hall this year, his role in this offense was just so bad. And I think going forward, man, if they bring back Rodgers and do this whole fucking clown show again, I probably won't have a piece of Rodgers next year. Hall next year.
Oh, you're not gonna take a chance on Rodgers next year, dude?
No, or Breece Hall. So he hate me, dude. Breece Hall, you hate me, bro. You really do.
It's not his fault.
It's a little his fault. It's a little his fault.
The fumble, yeah, for sure.
It's a little his fault. We can admit it. Breece Hall had a bad season, regardless of what was going on. It wasn't very good.
It was definitely underwhelming. It had its high points, but it wasn't very many high points.
He's the number 11 running back in fantasy right now. That's not what you want getting him in the first round.
You said he's your
technically still an RB1 though at 11.
We'll see.
You said he's your Saquon Barkley candidate, right? Like the guy that it's going to be the next Saquon as soon as he gets off that team.
Maybe.
I mean, he could be good next year.
Yeah, but just this year and this important game, he fucked me and he hates me. And that's just what it is.
Bad vibes. They got to get rid of Rodgers.
The second one has nothing to do with fantasy football or my opinions of it or the demise of it in my heart this season. It's Kirk Cousins. Brother, it's time to hang up the cleats for the season. You've thrown 0 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in your last 3 games. You've completely stymied the offense that is the Atlanta Falcons with all of the weapons. Nobody can overcome you, Kirk. And I think you got to let somebody else play, man. The Falcons deserve a shot. I think you ought to you know what I'm talking about. Let's see Michael Penix Jr. I'll leave that to but Kirk Cousins, you're dead to me, dude. You killed Darnell Mooney's stock the last couple weeks. You killed Drake London's stock the last couple weeks. Kyle Pitts' stock, if it was ever existent, killed his too. Killing your chances of having a legacy. You're lucky your wife is awesome.
That was for Kirk Cousins, not Julie Cousins, by the way.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
The Bucs running back room it ought to be ashamed of itself. It's the most unpredictable thing I could have imagined. Except
it might not be unpredictable anymore.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You never know, but Bucky Irving's really good, right?
He is.
It seems like every other week they're having equal seasons, or someone you don't expect is having a good game, or it's not safe to start these guys. Rachaad White, way too high of a draft pick for me. I hate myself for picking him. That's the new theme. Cooper Kupp having a terrible day going into the playoffs. What the fuck is that? Hurt a lot of people's feelings this weekend. Nobody liked that. Yeah, dude. All in all, I got eliminated from the playoffs, so I don't know how much longer I can do this anyways.
Yeah, you'll be back.
They always come back.
You'll be back. Is that it?
I could talk about it for like another hour.
Not about your playoff drought here. Just the he hate me section. All right, that was a good he hate me.
Oh man, playoff drought. Thanks.
Playoff drought. It's at least 2 years. I know that.
Words hurt. Bruh. No, here's a fun fact. I either make the playoffs and win the championship, or I miss the playoffs.
You're like the Florida Marlins.
This was the 4th year. So it was 2021, 22, 23, and 24. I haven't made the playoffs. Oh, wow.
It's been 4 years in a row?
Yeah, dude.
Mine was 5 before last year. So I've missed, 6 of the last 7. So I'm right there with you.
There's been an injection of new talent. It's been hard. That league is ultra competitive. All right.
Our home league is very hard now. Yeah. Pause. All right. Standings update. So Kai had a fantastic week. 14-2 on the week. He is
in first
still
place,
second
right?
place. He's still second place. He's 1 game back at Dylan, who went 10-6 this week. Dylan is now at 123-72. Kai is 122-73. And I went 13-3 this week, which is really good too, but not as good as Kai. So I still lost a game on Kai. So I'm still farther back of third place of Kai, but I'm closer to you. I'm 3 games closer to you than I was. So I'm at 116-79. So now I'm 6 games back of Kai, and I'm 7 games back of you. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm making a run here.
That's not bad, dude. Bring it on.
Hey, it's getting close.
All the way to the Super Bowl, boys.
All right. Let's go. Broncos 41, Browns 32. I don't know if this was the game of the year, but it was the most fun I've had watching football all year. I'll say that.
It was a good one.
Honestly, I did not expect the Broncos and the Browns to deliver like that, but that was fantastic football. I also love that the referees weren't even really involved in it. They were missing calls left and right, which it could be calls for complaints by the teams playing. But as a neutral fan, I was loving it. I was like, let the boys play some ball, baby. This is some football right here. Bo Nix struggled a little bit, but made some huge plays. Obviously, the 93 yards to Marvin Mims. I mean, that was a great throw. He finished 18 of 35 for 294, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Jaleel McLaughlin, guess riding the hot hand there, 14 for 84 for him. I said early in the game, I was like, this guy stinks, and then he went out and had a great game. So I apologize to Jaleel. Javonte Williams and Audric Estime were just like no shows. I think Javonte had 4 carries. He had a touchdown though, correct? Did Javonte have a touchdown? Mm-hmm. He had 4 carries. I think Estime had 2 or 3. So they were like barely involved. It was mainly McLaughlin's show. And honestly, if he's going to run like that, they should make him the starter moving forward because they don't really have anything going in that running back room, really. I thought he had some nice runs in that game. Marvin Mims was 3 for 105 and a touchdown. Sutton 6 for 102. Cortland Sutton's going to win some leagues for people. I know 16 points isn't anything to like write home about, but this is like 6 straight weeks where he's had really good fantasy numbers. So I expect that to continue. Denver secondary. Go ahead.
He's really good, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. I've been a believer somewhat, but he's really showing it this year.
He was getting like hit with he was like on the receiving end of a lot of pass interferences too.
He also had a deep shot to him too. It got picked off by Denzel Ward, but imagine if that would have completed. That would have been at least another like 50 yards too for him.
Yeah.
Denver secondary had 12 passes deflected, not to mention a couple pick sixes. Nick Benito, Jaquan McMillan had the pick sixes. And then Jameis Winston. We got the full Jameis Winston experience last night, boys. 34 for 58, 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, including the 2 pick sixes. And honestly, the third one almost went back to the house too. I have to look this up, but I'm pretty sure that's the Browns single game passing yards record.
Really?
And it's also the second most passing yards in the history of Monday Night Football. So Jameis was balling, even with the 3 interceptions, Jameis was balling. And then of course he had the amazing quote after the game where he said that he's just praying for the Lord to deliver him from pick sixes, which is just quote of the year. Quote of the fucking year. I hope Jameis Winston's the starting quarterback for somebody next year because the NFL is just so much more fun when he's involved. I don't want to see him be a backup ever again. Every single year, there's like at least 4 or 5 teams that have Band-Aid quarterbacks. Just keep Jameis rolling for the rest of his career. He needs to be a starting quarterback at all times, in my opinion.
Like just play for a different team every year, but he's always the starter.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would have loved if Jameis was on the Raiders this year instead of Minshew and O'Connell. Yes. Oh my God, it would. I mean, the Raiders still would have been dog shit, but it would have been a lot more fun than it has been. I'll tell you that. So much more fun. Can you imagine Jameis Winston throwing to Devontae, Jacoby Myers, and Brock Bowers all year?
Oh,
I mean, maybe not all year for Devontae, but maybe if Jameis was the quarterback, Devontae wouldn't have asked to be traded. So you never know. Alternate universe.
I think the Browns might work out.
Maybe they got a big question mark on their hands with Watson, right?
Yeah, but if you just start Jameis Winston and let it ride for like another season just to see what you got, you've got good weapons.
Yeah.
You went out and got good weapons. Like Cedric Tillman wasn't even healthy in this game. He didn't even have his number 1 deep threat, but Jerry Jeudy went off. They got David Njoku. Like he could do something there. I just want him to stick with the team.
Yeah,
so it has to be the Browns.
That's what I was going to say, too. I mean, on top of that, if you leave Jameis with a team for another year, let him stick with a system for a second consecutive season, he might actually improve and cut down on the turnovers as well.
Yeah, dude, it's like not a fair shake to a guy,
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's just got to just have him in your system, Like I know he's the gunslinger mentality, and I love it, dude.
It says, Jameis was only 20 yards fewer than Tom Brady in 2011, who had 517 on Monday Night Football.
Damn.
So awesome game for Jameis. I'm going to ignore the interceptions just because it was so much fun watching him just sling that thing. Jerry Jeudy, revenge game. 9 catches, 235 yards, a touchdown, and just mocking the crowd at all times. Classic Jerry Jeudy. 235, that's great. I saw that they put it up on during the game, a graphic that said that was the most receiving yards a player's had against his former team in NFL history, breaking T.O.'s record, who I believe had it with the Cowboys against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I think T.O. had like 213 or 215, something like that.
I remember that one.
Elijah Moore, coming a little bit of a target monster with Jameis. 8 catches, 111 yards for Elijah Moore.
14 targets.
Honestly, I think he is flexible moving forward. He's definitely not like a must flex player, but like you could do way worse than Elijah Moore with that offense, how they're moving the ball right now. And they really can't run worth a shit. Like Nick Chubb does not look like himself. Jerome Ford is very mid, in my opinion. And so if they're going to struggle moving the ball in the run game continuously, and Jameis is going to keep slinging it, I think all of these receivers are usable in fantasy. Like definitely Cedric Tillman, definitely Judy. Elijah Moore is usable, and David Njoku. If you have Njoku on your roster, I don't see how you can sit him the rest of the season unless you have like Trey McBride or Brock Bowers as well.
You could play both of those guys.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. If you have it, you could definitely flex Njoku. I think moving forward, just how many targets he gets. I mean, he was open in the end zone on the play where Nick Chubb scored the touchdown too. And he was open on a deep ball that Jameis didn't even look his way. It's not that he missed the throw. He didn't even look his way. He was getting hurried during the play. And then he was aiming for him on the last interception too at the end of the game too. So like Jameis looks for the guy, and I love David Njoku. I think he's a very talented player.
Hold on. Hear me out though real quick.
Sure.
Jerry Jeudy, 13 targets. Elijah Moore, 14 targets. David Njoku, 17 targets. That's 3 guys on this offense getting 10 plus targets a game, pretty much. And even when Cedric Tillman's there, he gets 10 plus targets too, almost.
Well, remember how many targets Woods was getting last night too? Kai and I were watching the game together. We're like, who the hell is
5,
Woods?
5.
So it's like, you imagine Cedric Tillman would have got more than 5 then probably. So yeah, I mean,
any of these guys are flexible.
Awesome
just with this target share is just like insane.
And not to mention Jameis Winston too. Jameis is playable in fantasy. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to throw the ball fucking 60 times or however many times he threw it, 58 times, goddamn, yeah. Like you can throw those 3 interceptions. I think he still dropped like 40 points or something like that, even with the 3 interceptions. So
yeah.
All those yards, bro.
Njoku 9 for 52 and 2 touchdowns. And then Nick Chubb scored that receiving touchdown. He had 2 for 24 through the air. So yeah, amazing game. I mean, good win by the Broncos too. They're still definitely in the hunt. What is their record now? It's 8-5. So I mean, yeah, they're right smack dab in the middle of the playoff hunt in the AFC. I think they might make it, dude.
Yeah, well, I saw the statistic. They have a 74% chance to make the playoffs right now.
I believe they finished last place in their division last year too, didn't they? So they have a 4th place schedule moving forward. So it's got to be easy. They have Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. So actually, that's not that easy, but those are still winnable games. Honestly, all of those games are winnable. Even the Chiefs. It's in Denver, too, against Kansas City. They almost beat them the last time they played them. All 4 of those games are winnable. They're very losable as well, though. I wouldn't guarantee the Broncos win any of those, but they're going to be favored against the Colts for sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're going to beat the Chargers or the Chiefs, but they could beat the Chiefs.
I mean, Chargers with no J.K. Dobbins, that run game doesn't look nearly as good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gus Edwards is struggling. Defense does look good, yeah, and Herbert's balling right now too. I heard Ladd McConkey might be injured. He might miss this week, so if that's a serious injury too, they could be without him potentially in 2 weeks. So we'll save that for a couple weeks down the road here. But the Broncos are looking good right now.
I do like their chances because I think the teams in the hunt are like 2.5 games behind them. So it's just like, as long as they can keep up the pace, dude, if they win 10 games, they're probably going to get in because it's like the Dolphins and the Colts are in the hunt for the 7 seed. So it's like, come on now.
Oh, yeah, dude. So like, there's really only 7 like good teams in the AFC. I'm looking at this right now. So like the Broncos might make it anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, if the Colts beat the Broncos though, that means the Colts are 7-7, and then the Broncos are 8-6, and then it gets interesting.
So that's low-key actually a huge game. Yeah, that's a very big game this week.
Wow, we figured it out.
Yeah, so they have a 2-game lead right now for the 7th spot.
But they could lose.
Or potentially the 6th. The Ravens are 8-5 as well. They might be 7 seed. I don't know who has the tiebreaker between them.
Well, it's just like a bunch of middling teams. Like, are the Dolphins and the Colts going to catch up to, let's just say, the Broncos, the Texans, too, technically. Like, the Colts got to go on a winning streak a little bit. They could catch the Texans.
I think if the Broncos beat the Colts, I think they're fine. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they got to beat the Colts though. Wow.
Okay, next up, Bills 35, 49ers 10. Another snow game.
Nice.
This one was a little bit of an intense snow game.
It was pleasing.
Pleasing. Josh Allen, 13 of 17, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. Josh Allen hacked the fantasy football systems. He scored 2 touchdowns on one play. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but they gave him credit for a throwing touchdown and a receiving touchdown because he threw it to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was basically like stuffed by, I don't know, one of the Niners defenders. Josh Allen comes running over. He laterals it to Josh Allen. Josh Allen goes in. It was an awesome touchdown too, fucking diving for the pylon. It's so sick. So I don't know how many points Josh Allen had. Can you look that up for me, Kai? But I mean, even if he only had 148 yards, I'm sure he had a really good game just because of that receiving touchdown too. He got at least 10 points just from that play alone.
He had 28.
28, so that's pretty good. I mean, that's a normal Josh Allen game, but still, that's pretty nice. James Cook, 14 for 107 and a touchdown. Ray Davis got involved, 211 for 63 and a touchdown. Mac Hollins, who was walking around barefoot in the snow before the game like a goofball, scored the lone receiving touchdown, 1 catch for 7 yards, other than Josh Allen's receiving touchdown, of course. Brock Purdy, 11 for 18, 94 yards, struggled in the snow. Jordan Mason, 13 for 78 before he got injured as well. CMC, obviously, 7 for 53 left with an injury as well. CMC was looking like himself finally for the first time though this season, which made me super upset when he got injured. It's just like, oh man, we finally got Christian McCaffrey and then kind of taken away from us. So Isaac Guerrero came in for relief, 4 for 19 and a touchdown. So I imagine he's going to get more work moving forward, like we said. The Bills clinched the AFC East. And then I also mentioned this earlier. Debo was held to fewer than 25 scrimmage yards for the 3rd straight game. So, I mean, we already talked about the Niners, but let's talk about the Bills then. The Bills look like a powerhouse right now. Are they the favorite in the AFC? I feel like they are.
I think so.
I think they can beat the Chiefs this year in the playoffs. I don't think the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl either.
I mean, I will not publicly count out Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs against the Bills just yet, but I do think this is the Bills' best shot.
Yeah, the Bills got the best defense when it comes to these teams. They have a really nasty defense, dude. They play every part of the field pretty well, and they shut down, I think, a bad team compared to how they used to be. Like the Niners are just like Brock Purdy throwing for 94 yards. That's tomfoolery, dude. You've been exposed, Brock Purdy. And I think you're going to be challenged for the starting job next year. You wait.
It was in the snow.
It was in
extreme,
the snow. I was going to say, it's an extreme weather game. We can give him a little slack.
It was in the snow, and Debo's been ass, and his 2 starting running backs went down with injuries against the Bills' really tough defense, like you just said.
Exposed.
I don't know if I agree with that.
They can't win a game like that. They've been exposed. They can't win a game like that.
They're not exposed. They're a bad team. They suck. They're like 5-7.
Dude. Teams figured them out.
I think they've just had a really bad run of luck. I don't think it's over just yet for the Niners.
It's Jover.
I don't think so. We'll see though. All right, let's move on. What a pleasing game that was.
That was very pleasing.
Bucs 26, Panthers 23. This was a great game. This was an overtime game. Bucs won on a field goal. They tied it on a field goal late and then won it in overtime. Baker 21 of 33, 235, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Honestly, not Baker's best game, but did enough for them to win, though. Bucky Irving, though, popped off. 25 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown. He has 337 scrimmage yards in his past 2 games. So I think Rachaad White's still going to be involved in the offense. Don't get me wrong. He went 11 for 76 in this game, and he's still the better receiving back. Bucky Irving has receiving chops, but Rachaad White is obviously the better receiving back. He's a legitimate playmaker in the receiving game. I don't think Sean Tucker is a thing at all going forward anymore. This is back to a 2-headed running back room, and I think you can play both of them. I'm starting Bucky Irving everywhere I got him. He's like, no doubt, at least for right now. I won't guarantee the rest of the season. He's automatic in my lineup if I have Bucky Irving. Rachaad White's probably in my lineup too, but Bucky Irving is like 100%. I'm not even thinking about it. Do you guys agree with me there? He had a fantastic game. I think he had like 29, 30 points.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, Bucky Irving's a must start for me.
31.5 points in this game for Bucky.
I think Rachaad White would have to be matchup dependent for me if I wanted to play both of them.
I think right now, if you're going into the playoffs,
them, like if you had one or the other, I meant if you had Rachaad White. Sorry, Dylan.
If you have any other options other than Rachaad White, you should start him because, yeah, he was all right, but he went to the tune of 8.8 fantasy points.
Yeah, it's still not going to be good enough.
It's not going to do good enough for you at all.
Only 2 targets in the past 2 weeks in the receiving game too, which that's his bread and butter right there.
I think Bucky Irving's probably taking a hold of this, and if you're watching trends, I wouldn't take the risk on Rachaad White,
especially this deep in the season.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I'm starting Rachaad White this week against the Raiders.
Hey,
if I had him,
to each their own.
Okay,
you know,
I just think there's room for plays to be made against the Raiders defense.
Bucky Irving.
For sure, but also Rachaad White, maybe.
Sure.
Mike Evans, 8 for 118 and a touchdown. I mean, back to his ways. Still in the running for a 1,000-yard season. It's not impossible. Let me see where he's at right now. I know it's possible.
He's at like 600 something.
521, but he's got 5 games left. That means he needs like 90-ish a game.
Average, about high 80s, low 90s a game.
It's probably more than 90, but less than 100 a game, which he could definitely do because there could be games where he could have like 150 yards, even if he has a game that has like 80 yards. So I think he could easily average that moving forward. But
he could have 118 yards, and that's still a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Bryce Young played really good again. He
got sold out, bro. That stunk at the end.
I think he's going to be the starting quarterback for them next year, and I think he should be. Honestly, do you guys agree? Like, let's see where they're at currently in the draft order.
Yeah. So with Bryce Young, I'm currently back on the train of like, maybe they should just roll into next season with him as a starter. You know, really build up around him. Please help him out a little bit. But I want to see it the rest of the way though too. If he can like stay somewhat consistent, limit the turnovers, give his team chances to win, like he's been in the past few weeks, I think he has a chance of being the starter rolling into next season.
So they currently have the 5th overall pick. Would you use that on a quarterback or no, Dylan? No, I don't think I would either.
Get a really good lineman or top flight talent.
You brought David Canales in, right? That's the head coach. You brought him in to work with Bryce Young. So I feel like if you give up on that after a year, you know, who knows what can happen. But if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So figure out what you're going to do with Bryce Young. Don't even consider drafting a quarterback until you figure that shit out, you know? But, yeah, they can get him a nice tackle or a wide receiver for next year.
So I'm on Tankathon right now, and they currently have Mason Graham, defensive lineman from Michigan, going to Carolina.
That would help
5th
too.
Overall.
Yeah. They literally need anything. Anything.
Yeah. Best player available, dude.
Yeah, literally. Couldn't be
This
easier.
is a super interesting mock draft here. So the Tankathon has Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars 1st overall. Then Shadur Sanders to the Raiders, Cam Ward to the Giants. I don't know how to say this guy's name, but McMillan from Arizona to the Patriots.
Ooh, nice.
4th overall.
Tet Tyroa.
Yeah, I know he's a beast. I just didn't know how to say his first name.
Dude, he's a beast.
And then here's an interesting one. Ashton Jeanty, 9th overall to the Bengals.
Ooh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Oh, that would be spicy.
Also, though, hey, low key though,
shit.
Cam Ward to Malik Neighbors in New York would be kind of nice.
Yes, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Fucking Shadur Sanders to Brock Bowers.
Ooh, yeah.
The Jags, if they pick Travis Hunter 1st overall, right? Who's going to throw him the ball?
I mean, it would be T-Law again.
I guess.
I mean, you might as well. I think the Jaguars could give him another year. I don't think it'd be the worst thing ever. It's probably
Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good combination.
Yeah.
Unless they would just want him to play cornerback, but it'll be interesting to see what he plays in the NFL. Do you want to know what the Bears are picking on Tankathon?
Where are they picking?
11th overall.
All right.
Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes me happy. That could make a man happy.
Okay, where did I leave off here? Bryce Young was 26 of 46, 298, a touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Chuba, 12 for 43, not a very good game out of Chuba, and he also had a fumble. Adam Thielen, 8 for 99 and a touchdown. I mean, Adam Thielen might be very usable going forward. If he's not on a waiver wire, I would pick him up immediately. Tommy Tremble,
definitely usable.
I mean, he's older than dirt, but I mean, he can still play. Tommy Tremble, 5 for 77. Leggett, 4 for 53.
Tommy Tremble's back to playing?
Yeah, he's been back for a few weeks.
Good for him.
Where's Jaquan Brisker at?
He's still dizzy at home.
Mm-hmm. Adam Thielen and Xavier Leggett too. Like that's not a bad wide receiver combo. I mean, you could definitely do better, but that's not horrible for Bryce Young for the rest of the season.
If the Panthers pick 5th, man, pick that McMillan guy
or Luther Burden. That would be good too.
Pick one of those guys. Give him to Bryce Young, dude. Come on now.
Eagles 24, Ravens 19. Jalen Hurts, 11 for 19, 118 yards, a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. Saquon, 23 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. And then A.J. Brown, 5 for 66. Goddard was 3 for 35 and a touchdown. Goddard, though, got injured in this game. Knee injury. He's week to week moving forward. The Eagles have not made the decision yet whether to place him on IR. So that kind of sucks for them. But Lamar on the other side, 23 of 36, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 79 rushing yards. Derrick Henry, 19 for 82. Zay Flowers was the leading receiver for Baltimore, 3 for 74. And then the tight end duo, Mark Andrews, who was making a bunch of sick catches in this game, 6 for 67. Likely was 5 for 38. They both scored touchdowns in this game. And then Justin Tucker, I got to look up his stats here. I forgot to look him up before. But I think he missed 2 field goals. And did he miss an extra point as well? Yes, he did. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point in this game. So there's buzz around the NFL. It's like, well, what should the Ravens do with Justin Tucker? He's 35 years old. He's obviously not the same player as he used to be. What do you guys do with Justin Tucker for the rest of the season?
It's tough because obviously he's still a veteran kicker, and that's ideally someone you want to bring into the postseason. But at the same time, that's got to be a worry in the back of your mind if you're the Ravens.
That's what you do. You tell him, look, dude, you got 3 more weeks. Shape your shit up, or we're working kickers out.
But the thing is, though, it's like there's no such thing as like a good free agent kicker at this time of the year. There's like no good kickers out there. So like if you bring someone else in, they're just going to be the same thing probably with less pedigree as Justin Tucker. Like at least Justin Tucker has proven that he's made big kicks in the past and stuff like that. I think after the season, you tell him to hit the road for sure. But I don't know if you're finding a good kicker right now in free agency. It's it's December 3rd. We're going on week 14 next week. I don't know if you're finding another like decent kicker that you're going to trust kicking in playoff games right now. Maybe there's a decent one out there that I'm not thinking of. I don't think there is. So I'm personally keeping Justin Tucker. I understand that it's a really shitty situation that the Ravens are in, but I don't see how there's a good alternate out there. Go ahead, Dylan.
I saw Rodrigo Blankenship playing with Legos on TikTok earlier. I think he's available.
He hasn't played in like 3 seasons, dude.
I know, that's crazy. I don't know what happened to the guy. But, dude, Justin Tucker, I don't know, man. Yeah, you're not going to find another kicker out there like him. This reminds me of what happened to Robbie Gould with the Bears. Like, he kind of had a slump season. They cut him. He went to the Niners and was good for like 4 more years.
Yeah.
So if they cut him, he's going to go be good for like, the whoever needs him.
Maybe I'm misremembering this too, but there was like a season where Mason Crosby was super bad too, and then he came back and had like another year or two that he was Mason Crosby again. I think
could just be a bad year too.
Yeah, I didn't Justin Tucker struggle a little bit last season too, though, where we were kind of like, oh, Tucker. Yeah, we're like, oh, Tucker doesn't really look like Tucker anymore. It wasn't quite this bad, but I'm looking at it. Actually, I don't know. He didn't miss a whole lot of field goals actually last year. Now that I'm looking at, oh, actually, no, he missed. He made 19 of 27 last year.
Oof. I think it was towards the end. That's when he started slipping.
Yeah. Oh no, that's 19 of 27 this year. I'm sorry, 32 for 37 last year. So he missed 5 last year. So that's not too bad.
Dude, I think you got to give him almost to the end of the regular season, and then if you really are going to bring in a kicker, you got to do it with a couple weeks left. So give him 3 weeks, dude. You can't cut him right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are just in a possible situation because Tucker is, he's like a hero to the franchise too. He's been their kicker for a long ass time. He at one point he was easily the best kicker in the league for several years. Mm-hmm. Eye test wise, he's a top 2 kicker all time for me between him and Vinatieri. So I don't know. It's a tough situation the Ravens are in. I personally agree with Harbaugh what he said though. I think you just ride it out with Tucker. Just hope that he can figure it out, and then in the offseason cut ties with him. Either tell him to retire or cut him and see if someone else wants to take a chance on him. I didn't get your opinion about this game though, Kai. So go ahead. What did you think about the Eagles?
Oh man, that's just another great showing by Vic Fangio and that defense, man. They really limited the Ravens to not many explosive plays. We kind of kept Derrick Henry in check too. By the way, that fucking tackle by Cooper DeJean on Derrick Henry, that was awesome to see. I got a little hyped up when I saw that. That
was unfortunately a very sick tackle, yeah.
But yeah, man, Vic Fangio. If Saquon Barkley is not the MVP of the Eagles, then Vic Fangio is right behind him, honestly. Of just like the Eagles, it's crazy how good he's made that defense. Like I'm actually shocked, and it's young too. It's very young on top of all things.
What did you see with the Ravens that caught your eye?
Oh man. I mean, obviously Lamar is still an MVP candidate. They're still a really good team. It's just, they ran into us and, we finally beat Lamar. This was his 3rd loss now against the NFC?
Only 2nd.
Oh, only a 2nd. Wow.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still think the Ravens are a good team. I'm not worried about them whatsoever. Like I said, they just ran into one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah. And I think if Justin Tucker doesn't miss 3 kicks,
it's a whole different game. Yeah.
Yeah, it would change the dynamic of the game at least. If he didn't miss those field goals, at least, it would change it. It depends on mistakes, man. If it seems like the Eagles made less mistakes and had less errors than the Ravens did. And you're not going to win very many more football games playing shitty football, Baltimore. Just saying.
I mean, the Ravens being 8-5 is crazy because they're better than 8-5. We thought they were the best team in the league like a month and a half ago. Now they're 8-5. Same record as the Broncos, for God's sakes. Rams 21, Saints 14. Matt Stafford 14 of 24 for 183 and 2. Kyron had a good game. 15 for 104 and a touchdown. And then Puka 5 for 56. DeMarcus Robinson 2 for 49. Both scored touchdowns in this game. DeMarcus Robinson has as many touchdowns this season as Cooper Kupp and Puka combined. I know they were both injured, but it's just a funny stat. Kupp, honestly, his worst game has to be his worst game of the year. 3 for 17.
Maybe ever.
I was going to say, I don't know if I ever remember Cooper Kupp getting 3 for 17. Maybe like when he was like a rookie or something like that. And then for the Saints, Derek Carr, 24-37 for 184 and a touchdown. Kamara, 23 for 112. He still got it. Taysom Hill, only 5 for 10 rushing, 5 catches for 37 through the air, and then he tore his ACL and is out for the season. So I was excited for Taysom Hill's fantasy production moving forward. I thought he might be able to win some people some leagues. I thought he was an interesting, not only tight end play, but just flex play in general. If the Saints were going to use him in every facet, like Rizzy was kind of saying he was going to, and now that's all gone. And now Taysom Hill is, I believe, 35 years old, and now with a torn ACL. So I was like, we might have seen not necessarily the last of Taysom Hill, but the last of like a meaningful Taysom Hill snaps, though, because I don't 35-year-old coming back from a torn ACL. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Very sad.
Do you guys expect him to come back and like be like a difference maker for the Saints next year?
Age is definitely against him. You're right about that. Yeah, chances aren't too high, but would I be shocked? No. I mean, the guy's a freak athlete.
I think he'll try.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah, I
sure.
think he
Oh,
will
for
too.
sure. He's gonna try. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's a young 34, isn't he? He hasn't been in the league that long. I think this is only like his 7th season. This is his 8th season.
I mean, he doesn't have a lot of mileage either.
So that means he was like a 26 when he was a rookie.
So I think he went on his mission or whatever.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then he came back and got his eligibility. So he was a freshman at like 21.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
he
that's
went
right.
through college all the way. Yeah. So he's not young. Like he still played 4 years of college football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So
I'm talking about like his NFL mileage. So, I mean, if you think about like his role in the offense, it's not like he was like a full-fledged starter taking. Yeah.
No, he's not taking hits constantly in a game and stuff like that. So,
maybe, maybe he might come back physically. All right. Yeah, maybe.
look at him. Look at the guy. If
Yeah.
I were to choose one guy just physically, you look at him like, who could come back from this? I'd be like, probably that guy right there, Taysom Hill. Look at that guy. He's a horse.
Good win for the Rams. I wouldn't say like overly impressive, but this is a game that they should have won and they needed to win and they did. So they're still smack dab in the NFC playoff picture. They're still technically third in the division. They're tied for second with the Cardinals, but the Cardinals have the tiebreaker over them and they're one back of Seattle still. So the Rams still could easily win this division and they could still easily make a wild card. So this was a nice win for the Rams, an important win for them. Texans 23, Jaguars 20. CJ Stroud, 22 of 34, 242 yards and a touchdown. So, like, not necessarily a bad game, but you definitely wanted more. I think we all expected him to have a better game than this. Kai, he was one of your saviors, I think, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So, I mean, do you remember how many points he had? Let me look that up real quick. But he had 17 points. So it's it's not like anything to complain about. But at the same time, against the Jaguars, you were definitely hoping to have more than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a savior, but it's not a stinker either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixon 20 for 101 and a touchdown after he had that stinker of a game last week. Nico Collins, still a beast, 8 for 119. Dalton Schultz, 5 for 61 and a touchdown. T-Law, 4 for 10, 41 yards and a pick before he got hit by Al-Shaair and was out for the game. Moving forward, we have no idea what his status is going to be. I would not be shocked if we did not see him the rest of the year, which means if you have Brian Thomas Jr., that's bad news. Even though he had a good game.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I mean, we just saw him with Mac Jones twice when he had bad games, and now you're going to, just because of one good game? I don't know. I don't know if I trust Mac Jones. Brian Thomas Jr. isn't a staple in my lineup moving forward with Mac Jones. I would play him if I needed to, but he's not someone I'm penciling in necessarily, where I think I would have if Trevor Lawrence was still the quarterback. Mac Jones in relief, 20 of 32, 235 and 2. Ground game was just no show for the Jaguars. Parker Washington, though, had a great game, 6 for 103 and a touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr., 4 for 76 and a touchdown. And he left a couple other touchdowns on the field, too. I think there was like a 69-yard touchdown and a 77-yard touchdown that was overthrown by Mac Jones. Just saying. And, yeah, so good win for the Texans. I mean, if they would have lost the Jaguars, that would have been a fucking disaster, especially when the Colts stole that win from New England, too. Mm-hmm. So they needed to win this game. They did. I still have this take, though. I think the Texans are going to get fucking mollywopped in the playoffs. If not the wild card round, then definitely the divisional round. They're not making it past the second round. And I think depending on the matchup, I think I'm going to pick them to lose the wild card game, too. They're just not that impressive, man. CJ Stroud, just not that impressive this year. Mixon's awesome. Nico Collins is awesome. The Texans defense has its moments. It's not elite, but it has its moments. I think the Chiefs or the Bills eat them alive in the playoffs. The Ravens, too. Do you guys agree with that, or do you think the Texans have at least a little bit of a chance?
I think they're a little bit of a paper tiger.
They're not a Super Bowl team.
Oh no.
Maybe moving forward, for sure. I think they're going to be in contention with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud, but this is just not the year. They're having an okay year, but it's not. This is not a Super Bowl team to me.
Mm-mm.
We'll find out. They played the Chiefs and the Ravens back to back in just like week 16 and 17.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, those are big games. Okay. Oh, I'm kind of excited for that. Not much else to talk about this game. We already talked about T-Law's injury. So moving on. Commanders 42, Titans 19. This was a fucking shit kicking. Me and Dylan both picked the Titans. We were so wrong. We were so fucking wrong.
I didn't expect a goddamn blowout, though. And I also didn't expect the Commanders to get over 250 rushing yards on the Titans' run defense. It's crazy.
Well, Eckler, too.
It's crazy.
The Titans were down 28-0 before Levis even dropped back for his 6th pass of the game. Down 28-0. The Commanders scored touchdowns on their first 4 drives of the game. The Titans were down 28-0 like that. Blink of a fucking eye. Jaden Daniels, 25-30 for 206, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and a rushing touchdown. Very nice fantasy day for him. Brian Robinson, who was one of my stinkers, I apologize. 16 for 103 and a touchdown. I apologize for the Jerry Jeudy one too. I didn't make a public apology for that one. That one might have been the worst opinion I've ever had. Other than I thought that the Cavs should have drafted Derek Williams over Kyrie Irving in 2011. That was the worst take I've ever had by far. I think this is a close second, the Jerry Jeudy one. Brian Robinson doesn't look so bad in comparison to Jeudy. 16 for 103 and a touchdown for B-Rob. And if Eckler's going to miss time, I know Chris Rodriguez and even Jeremy McNichols got some touches in this game. They're getting used. They're probably going to get used, but I think Brian Robinson is going to be great moving forward in fantasy without Eckler. He already has been even with Eckler. Chris Rodriguez, 13 for 94 and a touchdown. Kind of an interesting name to keep track of moving forward. Scary Terry, 8 for 73 and 2. Good for McLaurin, by the way. He finally has a quarterback. He's had such a great season. Ertz, 3 for 35 and a touchdown. He continues to be usable in fantasy, even though he's a corpse of himself out there. I mean, every time I watch Zach Ertz, I'm like, this guy has nothing left. And yeah, he still produces every single week. He just looks like a slug out there running in mud. Will Levis. No turnovers in this game for Will Levis, but only 18 for 37, 212, and 2. That's not a good completion percentage.
That's my measuring stick for if Will Levis had a decent game or not. Oh, turnovers? No? Okay, yeah, decent game.
18 for 37 though is not going to get it done.
That's not good.
Tony Pollard, just nothing out of him. But to be fair, the game script was negative towards him. 8 for 35 on the ground, 4 for 33 through the air. And then Westbrook Akine. Oh, baby. It don't make no sense, but he's a fantasy superstar right now. I'm being a little hyperbolic.
You started him, right?
I started him in our Dynasty League just because I have no depth on my team, and it's working out for me every fucking week. And guess what? I'm going to keep firing him up. And you can't stop me. No one can stop me. He had 3 catches, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I believe he's up to a total of 20 receptions on the year or something stupid like that. 20 catches for 365 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jesus. Almost 50% of his catches have been touchdowns. He's going to be my lineup next week. The Titans committed 11 first half penalties, which is the most in the first half in a game in 13 seasons. I mean, just nothing from the Titans here. Is Brian Callahan in danger of losing his job already by any chance, do you think? They have not had a good season.
It was a mistake firing Mike Vrabel, dude.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. It so was. I hope Mike Vrabel's living in Las Vegas next season, personally.
You hope you hope that he's your coach?
Oh yeah, I would love if Mike Vrabel was the coach of that.
I think anyone would want Mike Vrabel as their coach.
Wouldn't you want him for the Bears? Let's say they can't get Ben Johnson. Would you take Mike Vrabel?
That's Mike Vrabel's is the first name I've heard so far.
Ooh.
For the Bears.
Oh, you think they like him over Ben Johnson?
No, I think new name. I know Ben Johnson's got a job. I'm talking about a coach that's available right now. You know,
Gotcha. Yeah.
They're Mike Vrabel will be a perfect fit in Chicago, and I'm like, can he hire a good offensive coordinator?
Probably. Who was the OC? Oh, was Arthur Smith the OC for the Titans when he was there? I think he was, right?
Yes.
He was good for them, though. I mean, he got him a head coaching job.
Well, we'll see.
I would take Vrabel on the Raiders, personally. I would love that.
I think he's a good coach,
I would take Ben Johnson, too. I'm not convinced that Antonio Pierce is going to get fired, but if I were running the team, I would fire him, and I would call Mike Vrabel and beg him to come to Las Vegas. Commanders, do we think that they're a contender? I mean, I think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're not a Super Bowl team.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think Super Bowl team, but yeah, this kind of changed my mind about what I thought of them like a week ago. But yeah, man, 250 plus rushing yards against one of the top run defenses in the league, pretty damn good.
Yeah, the Titans have a good defense, and they kind of just made them look silly in this game. I looked at the playoff matchups if the season were to end today, and right now it would be Commanders Eagles in the first round in Philadelphia.
Okay,
so that would be exciting.
You can't convince me that it's not going to be Minnesota, Green Bay, and Washington as the three wildcard teams.
I can see it.
It's going to be really hard for any other teams to make the playoffs if you don't win your division. Like the wildcard spots are pretty much locked up unless like Tampa Bay or Arizona or the Rams can go on like a hell streak and catch up to them, you know? It's going to take like a 4-game win streak to get up to where Washington's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw how poor, maybe poorly is a wrong word, but Washington hasn't been playing as well as they were at the start of the season before this game. So it wouldn't shock me if that kind of continues. Like the Titans, even though they have a good defense, they are still a really bad team. Yeah. So maybe Washington somehow falls out of here. Tampa, Arizona, the Rams are all 2 games back of them right now for the 7 seed. You're right. They have a much better chance of just winning their division outright and not even worrying about the wild card. But I think it's still a little too soon to say that none of those teams can catch Washington yet.
I mean, they play the Saints next. So what do we expect from that? Like, I expect them to beat the Saints, right?
The Commanders?
Yeah.
I would say so, but you know what? That honestly, that wouldn't shock me if they lost to the Saints, though. That seems like a trap game to me. But I would pick the Commanders, yeah. So I don't know. It'd be something to keep an eye on. All right, let's move on. Seahawks 26, Jets 21. This was a crazy game because the Jets were up 21 to 6, I think, at one point, and they were driving down the field. Aaron Rodgers missed a wide open Garrett Wilson in the end zone. I mean, Garrett Wilson made like a stick move on the cornerback, and he just found himself wide open in the corner, and Aaron Rodgers just sailed it over his head. And then immediately after that, Aaron Rodgers threw a pick 6. And it was 21 instead of 28-6, it was 21-13. And then after that, the Seahawks just didn't look back at all. Jets didn't score another point the rest of the game. So, I mean, we already knew the Jets were cooked. We already knew Aaron Rodgers was cooked, but they were looking good for a second, and then it just all went fucking downhill again. And I don't think you can blame that on anybody other than Rodgers. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just not a good game from him. 21-39, 185, 2 touchdowns and a pick for Rodgers. On the other hand, for Geno, 20 for 31, 206 and a touchdown. Just played just enough for them to win. Just good enough. Kenneth Walker has disappeared from fantasy football completely. 16 for 49 in this game, 4 for 28 and a touchdown for Charbonnet. Charbonnet has been the goal line back, which makes no fucking sense to me because he is like the most mid running back I've ever seen in my entire life. Like he's just a straight up jag. I like Charbonnet a lot, like coming out of college, like in his first season too. I thought, oh, maybe this guy's got some juice. He doesn't have any fucking juice, dude. He just looks like a slow plodding fucking fat running back. Kenneth Walker is like one of the most talented running backs in the league. I don't know why you're not giving him the ball like 23 times. Now, granted, he didn't have a good like yards per carry in this game, but still, he's just so much better than Charbonnet. I don't know why you're not giving him the ball. He's shown time after time that he's a really good player. JSN 4 for 74, DK 4 for 66 for the Seahawks wide receivers. AJ Barner scored the lone touchdown for the Seahawks, whoever the hell that is. 2 for 14 for him. And then Leonard Williams, revenge game, 2 sacks and a pick 6. It was a 91-yard pick 6, which is the longest touchdown return by a player 300 plus pounds since at least 2000. That's from ESPN's Bill Barnwell. Honestly, a great play. He looked like he was huffing and puffing at the end of the run. He was enjoying it too because the Jets drafted him back in, I want to say like 2014 or 2015. He was letting the Jets fans hear it. So I'm happy for Leonard Williams. That's pretty cool for him. And then Dylan already talked about Brees, 12 for 60. He had a stinker. He had that horrible fumble too. Devontae, 5 for 66 and a touchdown. Only Devontae's second touchdown with the Jets. Only his second touchdown with the Jets. We thought that reunion was going to be so sick. It has not been that sick. And then Isaiah Davis, 3 for 28 and a touchdown. Man, we were so wrong about the Jets, Dylan. I think Kai was high on him too, but I think Dylan and I were a little bit more high.
We were all wrong.
Man, we were so fucking wrong about
I mean,
that.
it wasn't even just that though, too. Like the defense just doesn't even look the same either. Yeah.
Well, I saw a stat where it's like Sauce Gardner hasn't had an interception in something like 37 games or something like that. It was something crazy.
I just think the whole team's checked out. Like they just don't even really give a shit anymore.
I mean, what do they do next year? I don't think Rodgers comes back. He might play next year, but I don't think it'll be for the Jets.
Got to suck the poison out of the wound, and that's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, what an elegant way to say that, Kai. I'm trying to look to see. Yeah, Sauce Gardner hasn't had any interceptions the past 2 seasons. What the fuck? Is he just bad? Or is he just like a cover corner that just doesn't get interceptions?
Like a Nnamdi Asomugha?
Yeah, like a Nnamdi Asomugha. What a pull. Seahawks, I mean, it looked like they were going to lose the Jets. And in the first half, I was like, fucking Seahawks, man.
They're so streaky.
Like, are they good? Are they frauds? I don't know. I can't tell. But apparently they're still good. I'm going to still label them good because they beat the Jets, a team that they should have beat by like 30 probably. But yeah, they're still in the driver's seat in the NFC West. So I'm rooting for him, man. I love Geno Smith. It would be awesome to see him in the playoffs again. I think he's already started a playoff game for them, right? I think so. But it's just a nice redemption story that Geno Smith's had. Also, another revenge game. He used to be a Jet. He got drafted by the Jets, so good for him. He also posted the famous "Rest in Peace Bozo" meme after the game, where it's the guy's at his biggest hater's funeral. Have you ever seen that meme before? It was funny. I don't know if you guys don't speak Twitterese as much as I do. It was a funny meme though, just an all-time meme from Geno Smith. All right, moving on. Dylan's a big AJ Barner fan.
Big time.
Yeah, Colts 25, Patriots 24. Anthony Richardson 12 for 24, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, a rushing touchdown. All over the place for him. Jonathan Taylor, 25 for 96, and he also had a 7-yard touchdown catch. Pittman led the wide receiver room, 5 for 42. Alec Pierce, 2 for 16 and a touchdown. Drake May, honestly, a really good game from Drake May, 24 for 30, 238, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 59 rushing yards. Ramondre had about a normal Ramondre game, which is 18 for 73. A lot of carries and not that many yards. Antonio Gibson, 7 for 62 and a touchdown. Hunter Henry, 7 for 75. Was he a saver for you, Dylan? Am I remembering that correctly? That's a good call. You'll take 14.5 from a tight end for sure. I think that's a good call.
I would have liked a touchdown. That would have really solidified it, but I'd say it's borderline pop-off material.
I mean, Austin Hooper vultured that touchdown for him, 4 for 42 for him, and that touchdown. The Patriots have been eliminated from playoff contention with the loss. The big play from this game was at the end of the game, the Colts scored a touchdown and then went for the 2-point conversion to win the game. They obviously got it. They win. I mean, great call from Shane Steichen. And honestly, it keeps the Colts in the playoff hunt. So, I mean, this is a great win for Anthony Richardson. Probably the best win of his career so far. And great call from Shane Steichen, too. This was really impressive showing from the Colts. I know the Patriots aren't a good team, but this was a great win for them. In New England, too, by the way.
Yeah, man, it's tough to win in New England. And I feel like it took a lot of guts to go for it on 2 to win the game. You don't see that very much in football anymore. And I really like the call, especially when it works out. Even though it worked against me, I picked the Pats on that one. But, hey.
Oh, true. Shane Steichen destroyed your was part of the reason Kai's back in it.
Well, no, I actually picked the Patriots in this one too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did we all pick the Patriots? We might have all picked the Patriots. Yeah. Okay, so it didn't matter. Sorry to the Colts. One last thing. Austin Hooper wearing Aaron Hernandez's number and playing the same position, I think is just so crazy. I don't want to go too in depth on that, but every time I see 81 at tight end for the Patriots, I'm just like, what? Why would you wear that number? Anyway. Yeah, hey. Vikings 23, Cardinals 22.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Darnold 21 to 31, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. Vikings ground game, low volume. No one had more than 5 carries. Aaron Jones had 2 fumbles in this game too, and he also had a drop touchdown. Ugh. Justin
rough.
Jefferson, 7 for 99. Addison was 4 for 54. And then Johnny Munt and Aaron Jones caught the touchdowns, 2 for 22 for Munt. Aaron Jones, 3 for 6. Kyler Murray, 31 of 45 for 260, a touchdown, 2 picks. James Conner, 17 for 68. And then Trey McBride, just having a fantastic season for the Cardinals, 12 for 96. Doesn't have a touchdown, though. Josh Allen has more receiving touchdowns than Trey McBride does this year. Well, Trey McBride has, 2 touchdowns? It's a rushing touchdown and a fumble recovery touchdown, but no receiving touchdowns. I don't understand how that can be possible at all. And then Marvin Harrison caught the lone passing touchdown from the Cardinals, 5 for 60 for him. I'm still not sold on Marvin Harrison Jr. I tweeted that out during the game, and I got attacked by randos on Twitter for it. It's just like showing me stats about why I'm wrong. I'm like, okay, buddy. I don't know. He doesn't pass the eye test for me yet, personally. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I think he'll still be fine moving forward, but as of right now, he does not pass the eye test for me.
Yeah, I think
I think he'll work out.
Yeah, I just think the hype might have been too high for his first season. Just too high.
But like a receiver with that much talent, they usually come in are like
yeah,
and especially with a quarterback, like they usually come in and are pretty good right away. I don't know, a little bit of a disappointing season for him.
I just think we're so used to seeing that like year in, year out, because it has been pretty consistent with these rookie wide receivers coming out and just dominating right away, that we also forget that some just don't pan out immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We'll see. It's the season still has a bunch of games left.
Yeah. How do we feel about the Cardinals, though, going forward? They were in it. Dude. They were in it.
They were in it.
That whole division is just a fucking mystery, dude.
I know. They just keep like beating up on each other and then losing games they shouldn't and winning games that they shouldn't. And I don't know. The division's really hard to read. I don't think the Niners are going to win the division, even though they're still technically in it. I think they're out. So I think it's up to the other 3. The Cardinals could easily make the playoffs, but are they going to do damage once they're in it? I doubt it. They might be able to like spoil a team in the wild card round, but I think that's their ceiling.
I kind of honestly think that any of the 3 teams that could come out of the NFC West are probably going to be first round exits anyways. Rams, Seahawks, or Cardinals.
You know what? I would never doubt Sean McVay in a playoff game.
Obviously that's the harder one of the 3 to count out, but that's actually what I believe.
That's the scariest team to me, just because they have a quarterback that's been there and a coach that's. I honestly think Sean McVay, other than like Andy Reid's the best coach in the NFL. So I would not doubt that he could maybe get this Rams team, because the Rams are talented. They are a talented team. So I would not be shocked if he could get the Rams into the playoffs and make like an NFC championship game run. Like, I don't think they'll make the Super Bowl, but it wouldn't shock me if they upset a couple of teams and made it interesting in the playoffs. I don't have a lot of faith in the Seahawks or the Cardinals, though, to do any damage in the playoffs. I definitely don't have any faith in the Niners to do anything.
Any one of these teams could finish first or last in the division, and that's just. It's an anomaly, dude. There's a division like this every year.
There really is.
And we're still in on the Vikings too, being good, 10-2.
Yeah,
I mean they pretty much locked up a playoff spot.
I mean, I think I personally think the record's a little inflated with some, with a little bit of luck here and there, but they are a good team. They definitely are a good team, and I think they will.
They're playing in the toughest division too.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. I've been saying that line a lot this episode, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contending team. But I still think the Vikings are really good. I think Darnold's going to Darnold in the playoffs.
I think they could make it past the first round in the playoffs. I think that's like their ceiling
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility they could get the bye in the first round. It's not. I mean, they could. I imagine they play the Lions at least one more time, right? Have they played yet? I don't remember them playing, but
they played them twice already. No way.
Oh, did they play them?
They play in week 18.
Ooh.
Okay, so the last game of the year. Oh man, that's gonna be a huge one potentially.
Lions might
play the Packers and the Lions back to back the last 2 weeks of the season.
I mean, I don't think Dan Campbell would sit his starters anyways in week 18, but like he might not even. He might have to put him in anyways. Yeah.
Dude, the Vikings last 4 games is Bears, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. I think the Bears want blood on that one, dude, because that's a primetime game, and it's going to be like a revenge game from that overtime game. The Bears might win that one.
Let Thomas Brown cook, right? Oh, Dylan's back on the Bears.
Dude,
I think the Bears might beat that 10-2 team, man. I don't know. It's on the road.
I mean, they have like they've actually been really close with teams. They almost beat the Lions. You know, they're always in these games.
Yeah. Maybe if Thomas Brown is competent at all. I mean, he's got to be more competent than fucking Eberflus, right?
Yeah.
All right. 2 more to go here. Steelers 44, Bengals 38. This was a wild game. Straight up shootout here. Russell Wilson, 29 of 38, 414 yards for the old man, 3 touchdowns and a pick. The first Steelers quarterback to throw for 400 yards in a game since 2018. Najee Harris, 16 for 75 and a touchdown, and 6 for 54 through the air. Pickens, 3 for 74 and a touchdown. He also got a penalty for pointing guns, pointing like finger guns and shooting it, pulling the trigger. He also like punted a ball into the stands after he scored a touchdown. I think there was a couple other incidents that happened in George Pickens fashion. After the game, Mike Tomlin was like, he's got to grow up, and he's got to grow up fast. I think Tomlin has had enough with his shit. So, I mean, he's obviously not going to bench him because he's their best receiver by a mile, but I think Tomlin's about had enough with his shenanigans. So it'll be interesting to see if he kind of calms that down or not. My prediction, he's not going to calm it down.
No.
It's going to get worse.
I don't think he has it in him to calm himself down. Freiermuth, 6 for 68 and a touchdown. Calvin Austin, 2 for 29 and a touchdown. TJ Watt popped off, 2 sacks, forced fumble, 5 quarterback hits. He also had that play where it looked like he was kind of like twisting Joe Burrow's ankle a little bit. I don't know if that was like a little bit of a dirty play or incidental. It was on the forced fumble that Burrow had, the strip sack. And I don't know, it looked a little sus. I'll say that. I don't think TJ Watt's a dirty player, but it looked a little sus. Burrow, 28 of 38, 309, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Chase Brown, 12 for 70 and a touchdown. Looked really good in this game. Jamar Chase, 6 for 86 and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 5 for 69 and a touchdown. Yoshivas, 3 for 35 and a touchdown. And then Cam Taylor-Britt had a pick 6. And Mike Tomlin now has 18 consecutive seasons without a losing record, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, who did you start between Pickens and T. Higgins? That was a scenario we were running through on Saturday.
I started Pickens, and I ended up winning still. So,
well, he had what, 16 points. Higgins
was the right play.
So
Higgins was.
It was only a few points more though. Yeah. They were both solid plays.
But I mean, the game was close enough to where it could have been argued that. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that stat that the Bengals are 2-4 this year when they score at least 33 points?
That stinks. That means your defense stinks.
And I could be wrong with this. I think the stat when I read it said that all other teams in the NFL have only lost once when they score at least 33 points this season. And they've lost 4 times scoring 33 points. So that tells me they have like the worst defense that we've seen in a long ass fucking time. They have like the best offense and the worst defense.
Like Joe Burrow is playing lights out this year, and it stinks.
He's has MVP numbers. This might be his best season as a professional.
Yeah.
Stinks.
Zach Taylor's gone, right? He's fired? Almost certainly, right?
Yeah, you got to get a new coaching staff in there. I think Burrow and Chase are going to be good regardless of the scheme.
Yeah.
Let's just get somebody in here that knows how to run a defense.
Yeah, get a new head coach in here. Draft Ashton Jeanty.
Oh, man, that would be crazy.
Baby. Ooh, the baby.
And then use every single last one of your draft picks on defense after that. Every single fucking one of them. And we might be cooking. Maybe sign like a free agent or 2.
Yeah, dude.
The Bengals have like a couple of good players on defense too. Like Cam Taylor-Britt's a very good cornerback. Trey Hendrickson's a great pass rusher still. I like Logan Wilson, their linebacker. I think he's been injured a lot this season, but I like him as a player. So they already have like some talented pieces they can build around. But yeah, they definitely have to improve that defense, and they have to get a new head coach in there, I think. T. Higgins is probably gone. They'll be able to use some of the money from his contract on defensive players too. So that's what I would do. I would let T. Higgins walk, whatever. Maybe you just either draft a wide receiver, sign like a like a middling wide receiver too. Yoshevez isn't a bad play either. Jermaine Burton has potential if he can get his act right. So I think the Bengals offense will still be good even without T. Higgins next season. But yeah, they definitely need to do something about that defense. Let's talk about the Steelers, though. The Steelers look like a pretty dangerous team. Like Russell Wilson's still balling for them. I mean, Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL. TJ Watt is a fucking beast. The Steelers are going to be a very annoying team to play in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to give every team they have to play hell. I don't think they're going to get blown out at all in the playoffs or anything like that. They're going to, whoever they get matched up with, they're going to give them a scare, like right down to the final minute, I think.
Dude, it wouldn't shock me that if like we're looking up and the AFC Championship has the Steelers in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
It wouldn't shock me either.
No, it wouldn't shock me at all. It's just like, dude, they're a really, really good team. And I think it just depends on what team shows up. But like when they show up, it's games like this. Like, dude, they scored 44 points. Russell Wilson's out there throwing for 400 plus yards. Like, that's going to be tough to stop with that defense, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is exactly that. It's like if the Pittsburgh offense can stay consistent and playing like this all the way into the postseason, they're going to be probably the toughest team. Not name the Lions. Dude. Yeah.
I mean, they're freaking. What's their record now? They're like 9-3. 9-3.
They're currently in third in the playoff seeding.
They're winning the AFC North possibly, and you'll have to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, and Pittsburgh's tough to play in January for sure. It's gonna be cold as shit. That home crowd is so good too.
Oh my God, they have to play the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs in a row.
They do have a tough schedule though.
Man, that is tough.
God,
it's murders, bro.
Oh, they might not even make the playoffs. No, I don't know about that. They're either going to be in the AFC Championship game or they're not going to make the playoffs.
It's possible, dude.
Did you guys see Mike Tomlin after the game? So he was mic'd up for Hard Knocks, and immediately when he was walking into the locker room, he's like, "Get this shit off me! Get this shit off me! Get it off me!" He's just like screaming at the producers to get the microphone off him. And as he's walking into the locker room, one of the offensive linemen was like, "Oh man, Mike, you were mic'd up." He's like, "Shut your ass up." He's like, "Oh, you're the feds, Mike." He's like, "Shut your ass up. Get in the locker room." I was dying. It was so funny. I fucking love Mike Tomlin. He's a treasure. Last game. Shut your ass up. Get in the locker room. Chargers 17, Falcons 13. Herbert 16 for 2,347 yards. The Chargers run game was just toast without J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards is just nothing. I think Gus Edwards. I think he's droppable potentially if you want to pick somebody else up. I don't think Gus Edwards got anything in him. He hasn't shown anything this year. I can't even remember like a good play I've seen out of Gus Edwards this year. Does he even have a touchdown or anything?
Beginning of the season. Yeah, beginning of the season he was cooking a little bit, right?
Was he?
Not really, but he was injured for a lot of the season.
His highest point total of the season is 7. And it was when he scored a touchdown last week against the Ravens. He went 9 carries, 11 yards, and a touchdown. I think he might just suck, honestly. I don't know what Kamani Vidal has in him, but I don't know if Gus Edwards is the move. Vlad McConkey, 9 for 117. He might be injured, though. So we'll have to keep an eye on him this week. There's a chance he might not play next week. Keep that in mind. No other player for the Chargers had over 12 receiving yards. He still had 2 interceptions, with one being a pick 6 on Kirk Cousins, who threw a total of 4 picks in this game, 24 of 39, 245 yards. I saw something, and I wish I would have saved it. I thought I did, and maybe it just didn't save on Twitter or bookmark. But I thought I saw something where it said Kirk Cousins didn't throw a football over 35 miles per hour one single time, which is the only time that's happened to a quarterback this season in an NFL game. So I'm like, I don't know if it was exactly 35 miles per hour, but that just tells me he was just getting no torque on his throws at all. With a bad Achilles, that tells me that that's not good news for Kirk Cousins. Yeah, or just maybe just washed, old, as a fully recovered still from the Achilles. Yeah, all the above. So we'll get to the Penix question here in a second, but Bijan Woods, 26 for 102 and a touchdown, 6 for 33 through the air. Then Ray McLeod, 4 for 95. Drake London, 9 for 86. All right, straight up, would you start Penix over Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
I think the Falcons should really consider it.
I mean, their season's on the line. You have to make some kind of decision right now.
Let me play devil's advocate here. The next 2 games are revenge games for him, Minnesota and Washington.
I don't know if I'd want to bring Kirk into Minnesota. That's a very nasty defense, and they bring some pressure to Kirk, he's going to fold.
I mean, it's kind of like a rock and a hard place because they've lost all their ground on the Buccaneers.
I'm sorry, he plays Washington later in the season. He plays the Raiders after the Vikings. That's my bad.
All right, so it's Vikings, Raiders, Giants. I mean,
Commies and Panthers.
You got to see. I think you got to see what he's got against Minnesota. You know,
but that might be the deciding point.
Yeah, because then you got Raiders, Giants after that.
Perfect time to bring in a rookie.
That really would be.
Just perfect time to bring in Penix. Be like, you got 2 games, then we play the Commanders.
And then the Panthers. Like, those are 4 like middling to bad defenses.
I like where Dylan's going with this. This might be a good idea.
But
he has like a revenge factor in his mind for the Vikings. Maybe he balls out. I don't know.
But then if he
Kirk Cousins isn't the type of guy to have like revenge on his mind though either.
But if he does bad in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Penix come in. If he does bad in Minnesota, for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm with you. I think he should start, but it wouldn't shock me if we see Penix at some point in that game. It'd be fun to see Penix. Yeah, I would like to see Penix, see what he's got.
This is a very nice offense he'd be walking into as well, too.
Imagine, because they're still technically first in the division. Imagine Penix comes in, is a fucking stud immediately, and then they go win the Super Bowl with Michael Penix. That'd be like one of the craziest. That'd be like a Tom Brady-esque story. Even crazier, because I think Tom Brady came in like week 4 or something like that, or week 2. Penix coming in 4 weeks left of the season, then taking the Falcons to the Super Bowl. That might be one of the crazier stories in the NFL.
Not even to mention that he's going to be coming off of a national championship appearance right before that as well, if that were to happen.
That don't mean nothing.
I mean, it's just an extra wrinkle to add in.
I mean, it's just they have the chance. I mean, they've already swept the Bucs, right? So they have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Bucs. So all they have to do is finish with an even record, and I believe they make it in over the Buccaneers. So
yeah,
you really have to do. If you lose against the Vikings, you have to make a change. That's a 4-game slide, and you're not going to the playoffs if you don't make a change.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see. Let's get to Thursday Night Football. Packers 9-3, Lions 11-1. Josh Jacobs is questionable. Romeo Doubs is questionable. No major injuries for Detroit. It's in Detroit. Obviously, last time they played, the Lions kind of kicked their ass in the bad weather in Green Bay, but Jordan Love was injured in that game. It definitely didn't look like himself. This is going to be in a dome. I think the Packers have a chance to win this game. I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to pick Detroit, but I expect this game to be very good. I'm very excited for this game.
Yeah, we've been blessed with some good primetime football lately, so why can't this game be good as well? I'm also going with the Lions here, too. I mean, I do love the Packers this season. There's nothing to really hate about them. But, man, the Lions are just so hard to deny right now. I cannot pick against them even if I tried, and I'm going to do the same here.
This game is very tricky for me because we like to say division teams don't sweep each other, especially good ones. It usually goes 1-1. So by that math, and I think just in general, what I would want to see is a little shakeup in the NFL. I think the Packers do have a chance to win this game. And I think they will. I'm going to choose the Packers to win this game.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout or like a comfortable win. But hey, man, the Packers are still a 9-win team, and they're kind of coming back into form. So this ain't going to be no pushover, dude. The Lions barely beat Chicago on Thanksgiving. So there's some weaknesses there.
True. Okay. So Kai and I are on the Lions. Dylan's on the Packers. That's it for us. As always, you can find us at Raging Takes everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You can email us ragingtakes@gmail.com. I'm at Montana Sauce on Twitter. Kai is at RTP Kai, and Dylan is at Such a Wise Fool. We'll see you on Saturday. Peace.